I don't remember.
Well, that's what my bedtimes are for, apparently.
Right. Oh, man. Okie dokie. We should be live now. Good stuff. All right. Are you guys ready to get this going?
Yep.
Yeah, sure. Hold on. I'm just looking at the Euro 2020 results because it's 2021 and why not?
Yeah.
Okay, so Wales got knocked out. Italy went through. Wales got embarrassed by Denmark, what I might say. Belgium went through. Portugal got knocked out. Haha, fuck you, Cristiano Ronaldo. There's nothing against the guy. He happens to be one of the most talented footballers of our generation, and he's a bit of a dick.
Yeah. He just also sucks.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, yes, I forgot. Haha. England have someone who we don't have any history at all with in the first round of the knockouts. We face a nice country we have a gentle, friendly rivalry with in Germany.
Oh, boy. That's going to be spicy.
Yeah, and if Germany don't beat us, then they deserve to get knocked out because Germany have always had one of the best teams on the planet, and their team right now is pretty solid too.
Nice.
Playing like shit, but pretty solid team. He says from the country who gave us the golden generation with the best players in the world that didn't win diddly squat. That was literally our team was made up of world conquerors, and we balls of a show. Let's go.
Good times. Okay. I should be back now?
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool beans.
Good to know that's going to go. Keep continuing here for literally no reason, because we recorded for an hour earlier and things were fine.
I blame a monkey. Nimble monkey. It's their fault.
Yeah.
Whatever.
100%. All right. Are you guys ready to start this thing then?
Yeah.
Sure. Me and my 2 games are ready to go.
All right. Starting in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me as always is Moonpeer.
Hello.
And the Nimp.
Hello.
Patreon.com/E1M1. The ones are numbers. The super important. Normally, behind the scenes, early access, all that good stuff. This week, however, Moon and I are doing a special episode of Critical Misses, Season 1, Episode 11. Which
every time you say that.
It's so good.
Time.
Yeah. Season 7 will also be starting this week for patrons. But Season 1, Episode 11, F9, Fast 9, came out this past weekend. So Moon and I went to go see it in theaters, and we've recorded a Critical Misses for it. So
separate. We social distance.
Yes, social distance by the entirety of our country. Yes.
Did you guys get any weird looks in the theater when you pulled out your notepads to start taking?
No, we addressed that really early on because it's we didn't have our phones to type out all the funny stuff during the movie. So some of it is did we already talk? Oh no, that was earlier. Yeah. So if you're a patron at the $2 level or higher, you'll get that this week. If not, it'll be in the public feed in 2 months like normal. So you'll get 2 episodes of Critical Misses this week, the beginning of Season 7, and one for F9, Fast 9, along with the uncensored Outcast, the early access to We Rogue Like It, all the other good stuff. The $5 a month tier is the recommended one. That gets you everything. If you support us, great. If you can't support us financially via Patreon, tell your friends. Rate us 5 stars wherever you listen. Share it. Twitter. If you still use Facebook, share us there, I guess. And everything helps. Patreon.com/E1M1. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm a patron too, by the way.
Yes.
So everybody knows. So,
yes.
I am one of you. I produce the content and then I download the content.
You also have a RSS feed just to yourself.
Yes. Yes.
So, thank you for everyone that supports us in any way you can. We sincerely appreciate it. Moon, what have you been playing this past week?
So, 2 games. 2. That's
Okay.
my grand total this week. 2. I'm going to start with the annoying one so we can get this conversation out the way first and foremost.
Can we guess?
Feel free. It's only going to be 1 or 2 games. And I called it
Also-
annoying, so you should already know which one it is.
Yeah, it's either going to be Destiny 2 or MLB.
Oh, it's not MLB, so Destiny 2 it is.
There you go.
So, for those of you who didn't listen last week, don't remember, I took part in the semi-serious raid group last Friday.
I appreciate you using our canonical name.
And I felt woefully inadequate.
Hmm. You did great. I will reiterate. You did great.
But yet, despite having 30 points of light lower than the recommended level to do the raid or whatever.
Right.
So this week I felt the pressure. This week it was gut check time.
Right.
Gut check time.
Right.
So I played a lot of Destiny.
Dude, you put in some work. Like, you showed up on Friday for raid night. You were ready. Like you had done the strength training. You were punching the sides of beef. You were running up the steps. Like, you did it.
I was like, hold on a minute. So we're gonna go into this serious, are we? Let me just take off my weighted armbands and drop them to the floor.
Semi-serious no longer.
Yes. Well, no, it was one of those things where I felt like the weak link, and I hate feeling like the weak link.
Mhm.
So it was one of those things where it's like, ideally, I like to be a middle of the road link.
Okay.
I don't, which is more difficult for me because I don't have all of the exotics that you guys have. I don't have the weapons that you guys have, which is why after last week's raid, you sent me I was like, okay, what's the name of that grenade launcher that you guys use? That's overpowered.
Mhm.
And lo and behold, 7 days later, I have the grenade launcher that you guys use that's overpowered. I don't have it catalyzed because my word
because
required.
Good God.
It's what? Even 50 events is ridiculous.
So, the real bummer of it is if you're leveling up if you're doing the catalyst quest during the season where it drops, you get 8 or 16 times progression on it, which is great. You just fly through the stuff. After the season, it's no, you're going to do every one of these 300 strikes.
Jesus.
Bungie, come on. You're supposed to make people want to play the game, not look at this thing and be like, nope, never mind. Never doing that. All right.
I did finish off my cryosynthesis catalyst. Sorry, a big clump of cat fur just flew at my face because I have a Louise on my lap. And I jumped from, what was it? I was 19. I was 19.
You were 1295 or something. You came into the raid on Friday. You joined my fire team. You were 1310. You did some work.
Mm-hmm.
For anyone that doesn't play Destiny, it gets harder to level up your power level the higher it goes. So Moon was putting in some good work.
Yeah. So good work / annoying work, depending on which side you view it from.
Yeah, depending on how much you like the shooting in Destiny 2, yeah.
Which is great. I love the shooting in Destiny 2, but it's one of those things where it's I'll play it for 10 minutes, an hour later, and it's oh no, I should play other games. I've got a show to record where, I'm supposed to talk about other games, kind of, maybe. No, I'm just going to keep playing Destiny. But yeah, I got that. I'm halfway through the quest to get the other one that you recommended, but I'm pretty sure I'm at the dungeon step now.
Right.
Because it literally says, progress to the next zone or something. I don't know what that means.
Sure.
So maybe that's the dungeon step, maybe it's not.
I don't remember. Yeah.
But yes, so I was drafted in again while other people were enjoying their fine lakeside cabin views.
That's right.
Not that we're jelly or anything
Not
at all.
At all. Sending us pictures while we're raiding.
Of literally a beautiful sunset over a lake. It's go away. Or an ocean, whichever one it was.
Yeah.
Just go
it looked
away.
very nice. Yeah.
So yeah, I was drafted in again, and the semi-serious raid group took it to the next level and became a fully serious raid group because we actually did the raid.
A quasi-serious raid group. We did. Not only did we finish the raid this week, we got our strategy down. We're good now. We also did the Oracles challenge, which was an undying nightmare. That was tough.
So for those who are curious, the Oracles challenge is you can only kill each Oracle once. So normally you would have 3 people watching the Oracles. It's 3 people watching the Oracles, 3 people taking care of ads. Instead, you basically have to do a musical chairs hot potato thing, where you've got to take out
clockwise
and keep an eye on the Oracles and basically do a clockwise rotation around the map, figuring out where the Oracles are that you are supposed to shoot, and in what order for 7 runs.
Yep. Finishing that felt real good. Doing it felt incredibly stressful.
You know what felt like a stab in the back to me, Boston?
Was
you had me end on the point where there was 2 Oracles for me.
I did not do that math. That's my bad.
You should have started it the other way around. So
I should
you
have.
were the last person.
Yeah, I should have. That was a really solid run, though. We finally have our strategy down for the final boss. All the other fights went super smoothly, but we got the strat down for the final boss, and now we're good. Nobody got the exotic though.
Yes, I am glad that even with I felt a lot better about doing damage. I also started to learn how to use Thunder Crash, which is dumb.
Just yeeting yourself at a boss.
It was always great because you could tell when Bills was close because it was like Bills followed by me, like 2 like missiles pointed at the same target.
Yep,
it was stupid.
It's really great.
But no, it was fun. We did it. We got a bunch of rewards. I got like a whole bunch of 1310s from it. So
nice.
Now I just need to get the materials for upgrading stuff and checking out the rolls on them and some blah 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 blah. Too much minutia to talk about frequently.
Like that's the hard part about Destiny 2 is like we're all doing a lot of stuff every week, but it's a lot of like, well, I got this roll. Like this week, I got a roll that after I put I got like a chess piece that after I put the mod on it and I masterworked it, it has a 100 stat roll on it, which is just like mind-bogglingly, stupidly high.
I can't masterwork diddly squat because
I know,
don't have the materials, because you're all a bunch of punks who don't play on the Xbox and won't do the Nightfall raid with me.
Yeah, but I bought you Destiny on PC, so now there's a whole crew of us that can run you through some of this stuff. But like...
The achievement is the problem.
Oh, don't worry. Now that you have cross save set up, once you get all that stuff and you sign back in your Xbox, it pops up right there.
I was gonna say all my stuff from when I was playing it on PlayStation and I moved over to Xbox for a little bit. All the achievements started popping as soon as I loaded in. So,
I mean, that's the tough part since we're not like a Destiny podcast. It's like there's a lot of stuff going on every week. Like the story stuff this week was actually pretty good too, but like so much of that stuff is so minutia that it's like too inside baseball.
I'm so much on that grind for gear. I didn't even play the story content this week, Boston.
It's real good. Do you see what the tower looks like this week?
Yes, with all the weird black goop everywhere.
Yeah, that's bad. Yeah, that's no good. Bad stuff's happening, man.
Yeah. And I'm not going to lie, seeing all that makes me kind of want to watch Fringe again.
Yes, there you go. It's never a bad time to watch Fringe. That show's great.
Fringe, so good.
I don't remember any of it, but I do remember it being great.
What's-His-Face from Dawson's Creek, What's-His-Face from Lord of the Rings, interdimensional travel. That's all you need to know.
Yeah. Can't go wrong.
Yes. My second game this week, unless you have anything else to talk about for Destiny, Boston.
I do not.
Okay. My second game this week, and the only other game I played, is released in 2021, the 2020 Tokyo Olympics game, which I'm pretty sure is actually under O when you search for it in the Xbox. Because
incredible.
This exists.
Right. Yes. Oh, that came out.
So, $40 is the right price for this game.
Okay.
But I think I may secretly be in love with how dumb this is.
Oh, no.
So, you remember when we all got a Wii because it was the new Nintendo console, and you
Yeah.
all played Wii Sports for the first time? It's like, oh, this is nice and simple, but then
Yeah.
secretly there's this hidden depth where, like, when you're playing tennis, you do the little swoosh and you start putting spin on it and stuff like that.
Yep.
Yeah, that's this game.
Oh no.
Except there's not 4 games. There's like 25 games in
Oh
there,
jeez. Okay.
including basketball and soccer and table tennis and wall climbing.
Oh, ooh, okay.
It's really good. It's
Yeah.
so dumb. Like, legitimately. Aha. The perfect analogy has arrived.
Ooh.
It is the Fast and Furious franchise of video games.
But not the Fast and Furious video game. That was bad.
Correct. Let's look forward to the new one that's coming out that's going to be just as bad.
Fingers crossed.
Yes. All of the games. Okay, so. Don't use your expensive controllers. Rule number 1.
Oh no.
Because this is a button masher of a game.
I was going to say, is this a controller thrower? Or...
Yeah, Mario Party level thing here.
Yes. Are you ready to get blisters on the palms of your hands? Are you ready to destroy an A button or 6?
Right.
That's what's about to happen. It's as you'd expect. It's stupid avatars that look like they come from the Xbox avatar editor, except they don't because you have to create them in the game before you can use them.
That's even worse.
It is, but it's fine.
I just want Alan Wake to be running around.
Yeah, you have the full flexibility of all of the usual things, so you can make people look like elves. I took part in a 100-meter sprint today against Shrek, who was made completely using the custom character creator. And then as you play the game, you'll unlock outfits. So don't laugh at my cat box.
Sorry, I'm just enjoying you just kind of gently removing your cat out of frame. It's like, we're done here. Thank you.
No, she was about to run across the keyboard over the space button and behind the microphone.
Yeah,
so,
both of those are a problem.
Yeah, the space bar and the microphone being the key of the two. So as soon as you start, you can unlock the Sonic outfit, so you can get dressed up as Sonic for your events. Which is sure, why not? As you take part in events, you get points. You can use those points to unlock new outfits. In half of the events, I'm now dressed as a wizard because why not? I'm gonna wear my wizard outfit.
Yep.
I'm an astronaut who does the 100-meter sprint, which I said I was going to do, and I am doing.
Okay.
And all of the games are controlled well enough at the base level where it's like, okay. And then as you start to play it, you start to unlock hints. For example, I didn't know if you hold down left trigger after the ready disappears on the 100-meter sprint, you build up energy for a turbo start.
Okay.
Nice.
It really is Mario Kart.
Like, dude, if you do so, there is flames when you run. It's 1,000% Mario Kart.
That's incredible. I love it.
And then the table tennis is really simple. It's like flick the stick, you hit the ball. Oh, and by the way, the trigger buttons do spins, the bumper buttons do top and bottom spin, and you can do special shots like Mario Tennis, one might say.
Right.
This is so dumb. Like, so stupidly dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we played 4-player, so like it was just well, technically it was 3-player because one of us was in bed asleep. Not naming names, Justin or anything like that, but you know, someone.
If you've listened to this show for maybe more than 5 episodes, I feel like you already know who it is.
And again, I just want clarification to take place. But it was like a good solid 3 hours of just laughing at how bad we are at it.
Yep.
And how stupid the people look while doing their things. Like, they show up to the 100-meter sprint and they all look like they're wearing like workout gear, not actual running gear, which is hilarious.
Wearing like a tracksuit.
Yeah, like, or like the thigh long shorts and like a baggy jacket and stuff like that. It's like, cool, I got a beard and sunglasses. I don't care. I'm going to sprint you guys off the line. That's fine.
I don't care. I'm an astronaut.
Dude, there's BMX racing in this game.
What?
Yeah. Uh-huh. Welcome to the Olympics, where everything is true and nothing is forbidden.
My dearest Claudia.
Yes. It's a little bit ridiculous, and I unabashedly adore it. Don't get me wrong, I'm really annoyed that the basketball is literally 90-second halves, or 90-second quarters, I should say.
Oh, okay.
So when we were playing, I think we ended up with an unassailable lead of 7 points, because you can't get much more than that in like literally 90-second quarters.
Right.
But no, it's dumb. It's fun. I really liked it a lot, and it was a very good wind down of just a bunch of us having a giggle because you get stuck with a computer AI person, and then it's just like the AI is like rated A+, and we're all C- because we haven't played the game before.
Mm-hmm.
Like Jason got smoked by my Uruguayan teammate on the wall climbing, and it was hilarious to see people struggle. Like this ghost ass dude on like one side of the screen just smoking Jason because Jason continues to almost fall but not quite. It's great. It's stupid. It's fun. I like it. All the achievements are 0s and 5s. Thank you for that.
Thank goodness.
It probably should be a $30 game, but I don't care. I've already got my money's worth. It cost me almost as much to buy this game as it did to go to the theaters to go see Fast and Furious.
Right. So this was only $40, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Every cent.
I thought the last time we talked about it, we figured out it wasn't a full price, but
right.
So again, my challenge stands. If you think you're man enough or woman enough, because it is both genders at the same time, bring it on, punks.
Yep.
I already
Cross-coastal.
I beat the other fools on Friday. What's it going to take? Who's going to come down and stop the champ?
Right.
Okay, credit where it's due. Rob beat me at soccer. That's fine. He cheated to use the special shot.
You got home rules for this stuff now?
No.
Yeah, don't cheat.
Well, that was literally the game after he spent the whole time smack talking to me about basketball, and then we beat him. So he can go away. I don't care.
Right.
Fine. But no, it's fun. Come and get some. Come and have a go if you think you're hard enough, as my English compatriot gangsters like to say.
There you go.
But yes, that's all I've been playing. Tokyo is really good. Please play it with us. It's fun.
On the Xbox.
All right. I'm going to be finishing up my list from 2 weeks ago.
Oh, right.
Stuff that, these are all going to be short. Go ahead.
Really quick. Sorry. The networking is bad in some games. It's hilariously bad. Like, the baseball game is terrible, but that's a story for another time. Go ahead now.
All right. So I jumped back into Nier Automata. Don't necessarily know why, but I was like, screw it, I'll just do it again. I am in the middle of 9S's story, where I left off, because I had stopped playing when I realized that, I have to redo all of these fetch quests again. This is just going to sit on the shelf for a while.
Oh, so you're on, what's that, Route B, I think?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So, picked it up randomly again, and I have beaten Adam, ran away from Eve.
Oh, Eve.
Yeah. I made it to the carnival thing, beat the boss there, and now I'm hanging out with Pascal at the village there.
Nice.
And just doing a ton of side quests. Like, I kind of forgot and kind of remembered how many stupid side quests are in this game.
Yeah.
And how that map kind of sucks with trying to figure out where you're at and need to actually go.
That's why I didn't do a lot of the side quests.
Yeah, that was kind of why I skipped a lot with 2B.
Yeah.
Because it was all just like stupid stuff. It was like, okay, bring me these parts from this specific monster way out here in the northeast, desert.
Right.
And then come back, and then here's 200 money.
Right.
Good job.
Like, no, thank you.
Yeah. So I found a bunch of weapons that I hadn't found before, apparently, or I don't know if they were only things that I could find as 9S or not, but it's been fun. lot of weird. I forgot about the scene about robots trying to have sex with each other, and obviously it doesn't work because they're robots.
Right.
So that was a scene that my son almost walked in on, and I'm like, hang on, we're gonna have a talk about this fun thing now.
Right.
Which he's already at the point where we've already had that talk.
Oh,
but
sure.
explaining context of what is going on.
Right.
So yeah, that game continues to educate generation.
Right. Whether they wanted to or not.
Yeah. Moving on from that, played some more East Origins. I finally got past the stupid man-eating plant because I'd figured out that this plant actually has 2 sections, not just the one. I figured this out by accident because I was attacking something else that it was doing. You're basically on like this quicksand, so you have to keep moving, you have to keep jumping around so you don't get sucked under. Excuse me. Meanwhile, it's like shooting stuff at you all the time. There's these little other plants that show up that if you leave them there for too long, it starts to heal the boss. Destroy all of those. The boss, goes into a stun phase. You jump on top, hit its eye, rinse and repeat. The issue that I was running into was that there was so much crap going on that it's hard to keep track of everything, and that eventually I would just end up dying after fighting the boss for a while. And the thing that I had figured out that it's 2 pieces is that when I was attacking one of the flowers that had popped up, I did a wave attack, which hit the flower, destroyed that, and then it hit the body of the boss. And I saw that it flickered for a moment, and then I saw like this tiny little red health gauge underneath it. I'm like, oh, didn't know this had this. So then I keep attacking the main body, and apparently if you hurry up and knock out the main body, it stuns the creature again, so it stops attacking you. This gives you the chance to take out all the flowers in the quicksand, which then stuns the boss again, and then you can attack its weak point.
Ah, I see.
As soon as I figured that out, took it out with no problem.
Nice.
So apparently I had just been doing it the hard way the entire time and wasn't getting anywhere.
Right.
So yeah, I'm on floor 19 out of 25, I think it is.
Okay.
For the first character that I chose. So that's progressing. Haven't touched it since because it was kind of like that whole I beat the boss and need to find a save point. I have a save point. All right, let's give this a break for a minute because that was pretty intense.
Yeah.
After that, I did pick up Nocturne. The day it came out. It is really awesome.
What are you playing on PS4 or PC?
Yep, PS4. Okay. I beat Matador. Nice. Apparently, I grinded a little bit more than I needed to because this game came out in well, no, like this game came out originally in 2004.
Yeah, around there. It was on PS2.
Give or take a few years.
Yeah.
I remember that boss being extremely difficult. Understanding the combat system for SMT. Yep.
Really taking advantage of the buffs and the debuffs, especially on that one.
But I remember that being extremely hard. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm gonna, just grind out, get to level 20.
I'm gonna prepare this time.
Yeah. And I walk in there. I forgot to equip the thing that makes like force null for your main character.
Right.
And then I forgot that one of the not enemies, like my party members, the monsters, demons, whatever that I brought with me, one of them was weak to force as well.
Oh boy.
So I completely bungled that up, but I still managed to keep on top of everything, and I was able to take them out.
Nice.
And then I was like, all right, cool. Should be smooth sailing from here on. The part I forgot until I got halfway through the rest of this dungeon is that boss fight is like a quarter of the way into a dungeon.
Yep.
And there is like a whole other like 3/4 of a dungeon that you have to go through with no healing and no save point. No healing that you didn't bring with you and no save point.
It's rough.
And the save point that is before the Matador is a temporary save point, so you can save there and you can teleport from that dungeon, but you cannot teleport back to that same spot. You have to teleport to way earlier, then work your way back up to that point, and then continue on.
It's really rough.
Yeah, and I remember running into this issue in my teen years of having to deal with this. I'm like, screw it, I'm just going to push through this. and I'll figure it out. And I did, barely. Everyone
Nice.
came walking out of that sewer system with like 10 HP, no MP. I was out of items.
Jeez.
So, that's the thing. So now I'm up to the point where I have to go. I'm in the mall, and there's a tower or building or something that I have to go into. And if I remember correctly, this is where I have to fight Thor and like 2 other bosses back to back or something like that.
I think that's where I stopped playing originally, because I was like, how many... This last dungeon was super tough. This is super tough too. Like, how much do I have to fight here? I'll come back to this game later. Whoops.
Yeah. Which, from what I remember, I think you do... I don't think it's immediately you beat a boss, you right into a boss fight. I think you have like a moment in between each one. You can't save, if I'm remembering correctly.
I think you can heal, but I don't think you can save.
Yeah. It's not like Xenogears, where it's literally 5 bosses back to back to back to back to back.
I just like blacked out for a minute, like, oh god.
And that was the end of this one.
No. JRPGs, I wonder.
Yeah. They're fun.
Yeah, but like for me, the selling point of the SMT like mainline games is that level of difficulty. Where like, if you come in very well prepared and you haven't been running from a lot of stuff, and you kind of you figure out your strategy after like maybe failing at the boss 1 or 2 times, you can go in and have a fighting chance. You're really never going to steamroll anything. But if you can take advantage of the game's systems, buff and debuff appropriately, like take advantage of poison every once in a while too, like it really rewards you for exploiting the game's systems in a way that a lot of JRPGs don't.
Well, and that is the thing that this game has ruined for me for JRPGs, is because bosses, you can put a status effect on a boss.
Yep. Most games just is like poison. No, what the heck.
Yeah, exactly. This is one of the few games just like you can confuse a boss, you can poison it, you can do whatever.
Silence
Any other JRPG, it's like you're just wasting your time.
Right.
It's like there's no point. It'll never take, which is stupid.
Yep.
But yeah, right now I just stopped there because I'm like, all right, I've beaten this game once before. I'll come back to it eventually. I just wanted to see how it all looked, and it looks pretty good.
Yeah.
The only thing that kind of threw me off at first was the opening movie before you get to the title screen. Like when you pop the disc in, you turn it on, that thing looks like a PS2 intro.
Yeah, they didn't redo it or try and upscale it or anything, which
I'm completely fine with.
Yeah.
I don't mind. The game looks a little bit better than that. Everything's a little more smooth and all that stuff, but yeah, it's definitely a PS2 game still.
Yeah.
So, after that, I have been playing, well, not really, but I bought Cadence of Hyrule.
Okay.
I have played 4 minutes of Cadence of Hyrule.
There you go.
That's a good game.
That is a very good game.
My son has already beaten Cadence of Hyrule.
There it is.
So Nintendo on their eShop, they had the game on sale with the season pass for I think it was like $34 or whatever.
That's a steal, man.
Yeah, so I was like, all right, screw it, whatever. I'll pick it up. It's always been on my list of stuff to pick up, and then it just kind of one of those things where if I'm not looking at the list, I completely forgot about it already. So I was like, okay, it's on sale. I'll just pick it up, whatever. I've got this now. And I am still at the point where if there's more than 2 enemies on the screen at once, stuff is going sideways rather quickly.
Yes. Yep.
And spoiler alert, every screen has at least 5 enemies on it.
Yep.
So I'm still messing around with that. My son, on the other hand, already has everything figured out. He's sitting there telling me, he's like, oh man, when you pick it back up, you should do this, this, and this. And I'm like, dude, you need to shut up. I don't know anything about the game.
Spoilers.
There's a reason for that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And he's asking me some questions, and I'm letting him know what I know. But I'm like, for the most part, it's like, don't tell me about how easy the final boss was, or that there was a final boss, or all that fun crap. So he really loves it. He loves it for the same reason that I do. I just wanted it because of all the different variances for the music, like the different versions that they have. That was the thing that attracted me to it. And God, I still just turning that game on and listening to that music is pretty awesome. So.
I think though, since your son seems to be pretty natural at this, I think you need to turn him loose on Crypta the Necrodancer. Because if you want a game to push a kid in the dirt with its difficulty, that is that game.
I had thought about it, because he wasn't saying that the game was easy or anything. It was just he spent a lot more time and picked it up a lot faster than I did.
He has free time.
I played it for like 4 minutes, and he's like, I don't know, 20 hours into it now. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, he really liked that, and that was something I was thinking of checking out too. Was Crypto the is it Dancer?
Necrodancer, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It's literally the same game. It just doesn't have like the Zelda trappings.
Yeah. So maybe I'll just have him play Binding of Isaac and be like, "Oh, you thought video games were easy, huh?"
Yeah. You thought you were good.
Honestly, Necrodancer is absolutely incredible.
It really is.
It's got probably some of my favorite some of my favorite music ever. I will say though, the Zelda music, there's 2 pieces of music which you can play and it immediately gives me nostalgia tingles, and it's probably the same for everybody. But it's anything from Zelda, like period, because they all share similar themes and stuff like that. But also the opening to the Command and Conquer Red Alert theme, that foot-stomping heavy metal guitar,
it's a good
kind
one
of thing.
Yeah,
that's great. Also, if you do point your kid in the direction of Crypto the Necrodancer, make sure you make him aware that the shopkeeper's name is Freddie Merchantry.
It's really good. I think Necrodancer is like number 3 or 4 on our We Roguelike It list, infallible list of the best roguelikes of all time. And that list has 40-something games on it, 30, 40 games at this point. So it's like, it's way up there. It might be more than that. But it is way up there. It's up with Hades and Hand of Fate and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's great.
He's all geeked out now since I picked up the season pass and all that. He's got like all, what is it, like 30 characters or something like. There's
they added a
number of
ton
characters.
Yeah, that's right.
Because he's all geeked out to play as the Skull Kid with Majora's Mask. Yeah.
35 on our ranking, and
35.
Chris, it's number 3rd.
There you go.
Nice.
3rd out of 35. Yep.
So yeah, that may be something I turn him loose on at some point.
Yeah.
So like, whatever, go for it, kid. I don't care. Following that, played a lot of Hyrule Warriors. My son for Father's Day got me a $20 Nintendo eShop thing, so that I can get the, I guess, season pass for that game as well.
Is that Age of Calamity? Is that the one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And I kind of asked him, it's like, is this really a gift for me to get that season pass, or is this a gift for you? Yeah, exactly. Because he's sitting here telling me, it's like, man, you get to have Zelda ride the Master Cycle and this, that, and the other thing. And I'm like, yeah, sounds cool, dude. You sound way more excited about it than I do. So.
Yeah, it sounds like I will just be along for the ride.
Yeah. So, I mean, it does sound cool, but he was really into it. I'm like, all right, dude, I will get this downloaded onto the Switch. We'll pop in the game, we'll check it out and all that stuff. From what I have seen so far, it is added. There are other characters that I can pick. I just got to get further along in the story. I'm at the point now where I'm just about to get the Master Sword, I think, because we're heading into Parochia Forest.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be interesting to figure out. But there's the first immediate thing that happens is that a new shop has opened. For you to get the perks of this shop, you just have to fight battles normally, and then you get like these extra items at the end of battle. You turn these items into the shop, and you unlock these nodes on this grid, basically, and this gives you like bonuses and buffs and costumes.
Sphere grid.
Exactly.
Yeah. Or no, that's the most important question.
A grid of spheres.
It's not a sphere. It is on a flat plane, but it does have nodes that connect and interact with each other.
Oh yeah, sphere grid.
So I've been considering how much people hated that thing when they first saw it.
Yeah,
I loved that.
Wild.
Can we all agree that that's probably one of the best leveling up mechanisms that
it's
probably
so good.
exists?
It's so rewarding.
I even liked the mini version of it, the dress sphere grid in X2.
Yeah,
just
now
because it was the whole thing of job classing. Which
instead of one sphere grid, now I got 15 of them. Hell yeah. Let's go.
So I've been playing this game a lot this past week just because it's a Dynasty Warriors game. I
Yep.
turn it on, I shut my brain off, I destroy a landscape of enemies, and then I move on to the next
Moblins or
one.
whatever.
You stop
Yeah.
the Yellow Turban Rebellion no matter how many forms it comes in.
That's right.
But I did find out that Link, every time you pick a different type of weapon, like his normal sword and shield, he has a certain move set. His spear, he has a certain move set.
Oh, okay.
His claymore, he has a certain move set. So I've been kind of messing around with those a little bit. And the claymore one, my daughter thought was really funny when I was playing with her, because one of his ultimate abilities when you use it is he plants his sword in the ground, he beats his chest real hard, he yells out, and then he eats a ton of food, and then he basically goes into berserk mode.
Great.
Yeah.
Love it.
All right. Yeah. This is great. I
Yep.
still enjoy this game.
Man.
So, and then we did a bunch of divines, where you're basically just on a track, you're piloting, one of the divine beasts, and you're just blowing mountainsides up and destroying thousands of enemies at once. And those are still really fun. So this game is still great. Haven't gotten the Master Cycle yet. I will get there at one point.
All right.
What's the Master Cycle? Is that a motorbike?
So, yeah, in Breath of the Wild, if you got the DLC for that, and actually you can find it in Mario Kart, the Master Cycle is the mechanical horse with wheels.
Yep.
It's just a motorcycle.
Yeah.
And they call it the Master Cycle.
Sure, why not?
Yeah. That Zelda DLC got real weird.
It did. That whole game got real weird in a really
That's
awesome
fair.
way.
Yeah.
After that, we also picked up Among Us for the Switch.
Oh, nice.
My daughter has been playing this on my wife's phone, and I think it was on sale this week for like $3 or something like that on the Switch.
Yeah, and I
So I'm
think
like, yeah.
normally it's only $5, which is it's very fair.
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, it's great. I'll throw money their way. Everyone seems to still really enjoy this game. My daughter has literally gotten away with murder several times because she doesn't know what she's doing. She doesn't fit the profile of people who are taking this game seriously. So she has gotten away with being the imposter so many times just from not knowing what she should be doing.
For sheer actual innocence.
Yeah.
The few times that I have played that game, I always get marked first because apparently people don't trust an Englishman. Understandably. I get it.
Cinema's villains.
I've conquered everybody. But you don't have to do me like that just because of my accent.
Right.
Well, and I don't have she can't communicate with anybody. She can't do the texting or anything. When you start the game, it asks you for your age or your birth date, whatever. I always skip past that crap and I just put what is it, January 1st of whatever year we're in.
1921.
Yeah, exactly. Well, this one wouldn't let me do the year 2021, but it would let me do January 1st, 2020. So screw it, pop that in there. I then get an email from them saying, "Hey, we just wanted to confirm that your 1-year-old is playing this game."
Is an actual infant playing this game.
Here are the parental controls that you can use for your 1-year-old. And I'm like, oh, hey, that's
good
really
for
cool.
them, though. That's nice.
Yeah,
that's pretty sick.
Yeah.
Nintendo would rather not let anybody voice chat, than influence something like this.
It's a lot better when it's like your 7-year-old just signed up for this murder game. Is that cool? Did you know about that?
So I just thought it was really funny that they just put it in there that you're 1-year-old and
that's great.
So the game really good, plays really well. They have the extra levels. I guess there was free stuff that they had
they've been
back.
putting out a lot of free stuff.
Yeah. So there's new areas and stuff that they've been messing around in and stuff like that. And I played it for a little bit with them. And was the imposter twice and was never found out. So
there we go.
I also didn't know what I was doing. So I'm sitting there asking my daughter, I'm like, what am I supposed to do at this panel? And she's like, you just need to toggle the switches. And I'm like, for what? Like what?
Daddy, you just need to kill.
Yeah. And she's like, well, just look at the panel and however it is, you just need to flip them. I'm like, what does that even mean? All right, fine, whatever. So yeah, had fun with that. Next game that I played, Dark Alliance, Dungeons and Dragons. This just came out last
This
week.
is the new one? Okay.
Yes. It's a $40 game. It is a solid B tier game.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying it's really rough, but I'm like, that just sounds like a B game.
Yeah, it's rough in that I have screen tearing.
Oh boy. Okay.
Yeah, it's not horrible, but it's definitely noticeable.
Mm-hmm.
There are some weird decisions made for how this game plays.
Right.
The first example being that the controls in this seem to be a weird mix between when 3D first started becoming a thing on the PlayStation 1,
Right.
where some games you would have tank controls, and other games you would kind of have 3D controls, and other games it would be a mix of tank and 3D.
Right.
This one is a mix of tank and 3D.
It's like the N64's hottest new release, using
Yeah.
the C buttons. It's just like, oh
So-
no.
And for those of you that didn't experience this fine generation of gaming that I am talking about, basically, when you push up, obviously, whatever character you choose runs forward. And this is all in third person.
Mhm.
So the camera's behind your character. When you push left, your character kind of runs sideways to the left. They run kind of sideways to the right. And when you push down on the stick or D-pad, they run backwards.
Mm-hmm.
And you have camera control, which kind of changes. Like, you can kind of how the camera's looking is kind of where they're kind of running.
You can strafe a little
in here
bit.
for a reason. Yeah.
I was going to say there's a lot of kindas in there.
Yeah.
So it's really weird. You notice it a lot more when you're trying to fight a lot of things where they're starting to surround you, and you're fighting a guy in front of you, and you're trying to turn around to get to the person behind you, and you're doing this weird RE2 thing of, okay, let me just hold down on the left side so that he can rotate around.
Oh no. That
Yeah.
slow, like 180 turn.
Yes.
Oh no.
So it's kind of weird in that respect
Oh,
for
boy.
controls.
A true classic.
Yeah. Besides that, though, plays fairly all right.
Yeah.
The only issue that I have is that there is no manual saving in this game. It's all autosaves.
Ah, boy.
The issue that I have with that is there's no autosaving when you're in a dungeon. The issue that I have
Oh.
with that is these dungeons are pretty stupid long.
And it's not even like saving between floors or between rooms like a modern game.
Yeah, no, there's so like the first level, as you progress, you come into rest spots like campsites, and you can do
Mhm.
like a short rest. Like, they're trying to pull out like all this D&D stuff that doesn't really work, that I will
Yeah.
get into more. But so you can rest at these, and allegedly when you rest at these, it creates a save for that dungeon. The thing that I'm still trying to figure out is sometimes if you have to stop playing, like, I don't know, your daughter is outside spraying water at the neighbor's dog or whatever, and you have to stop them.
Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah, they were having fun. The neighbor didn't mind. Everything was cool.
Sure.
It just looked weird to me looking outside for a moment.
It's one of those ones where you're like, what is actually happening? I gotta go.
Yeah.
I don't understand what I'm looking at.
So I saved it, or it auto-saved at a campsite, shut the game off, came back later, turned it on, and I have to restart the dungeon from the beginning.
Oh boy.
The next time that I've done this, further into the dungeon, it put me back in the hub, so I had to reselect that dungeon and then restart that dungeon.
Jeez.
So I'm not entirely sure what's going on with the saving. for
Yeah.
this. It has an autosave function in there somewhere. I just don't know what exactly is
I
flagging
just
it.
gotta find it.
Yeah. And then with the systems, you have a stamina bar for some reason. I don't really understand why, because you're not really draining a whole lot of stamina when you're doing attacks and stuff. I did notice with these campsites, if you choose to deploy the campsite, it refills your your health files. What is it? It restores your stamina, and you miss out on like loot I don't know, like percentages or whatever. Like you don't get extra loot or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Where if you skip these, it'll increase like some percentage of whatever extra loot you can find or get or whatever. I don't know. I'm not very far into the game yet. But so you have the stamina bar. As you use it, it will slowly, there's like a little bar that'll slide down your stamina bar, and this permanently decreases your stamina unless you rest at a campsite or you
I
finish
see.
the dungeon.
Oh, okay.
But even then, I've done the first dungeon without using a campsite. Didn't really have an issue. It's just instead of doing a flurry of attacks, I would just have to do a bunch and then back off for a minute, let it recharge, and then do a bunch more. Yeah,
Instead of
it's
7
whatever.
time combo, you just did 5.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very cool. But it feels like the dungeons are just a lot longer than they should be, and I think that's only because of the weird save state that they have for this. That like I just don't understand why they did it this way.
Yeah.
But besides that, though, it does have the D&D system. There is like a little character sheet where if you level up, whatever, you can pick. You can pick the 4 characters from the Sword Coast, Icewind Dale, Driz, was it Wolfgar, Canterbury, Bjornar? I can't remember the dwarf's name all of a sudden. But anyway, you can pick the dwarf as well. They all have their different stat sheets and stuff, and as you level up, you can increase their, their strength and all that, or you can pick feats and all this other thing. So they've got D&D in there in kind of a weird way, but I haven't really had a chance to do a whole lot. You are also getting loot. You do not have access to this loot until you've beaten the dungeon that you're in.
Ah, right.
So, and then when you get back to the hub, there's like a chest that you have to go to grab all of that loot. So it's all really, I don't know, it's all really weird.
Yeah.
I'm still going to play the game. It's not like this is game-breaking stuff where it's like, oh, this is unplayable. No, it's just weird. I don't understand why they went in certain directions with this game when we already have other games that have done it better, whatever. So
just copy Diablo. Come on.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know why they went with this template.
Right.
It's fine. Like you were saying, it's a B-tier game.
Yeah.
It has the cost of a current gen B-tier game, so I'm not going to be like, oh, never buy this. If you're interested, pick it up at $40. If you want to wait, pick it up at $30 or $20, whatever. It'll go on sale eventually.
I think it's on Game Pass on Xbox too.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. It's currently on Game Pass.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you want to check it out there too, yeah, just check it out.
Seems fine.
Different. Yeah.
Seems okay.
It's all right. It'll keep you busy. Yeah. You may not like it, but it'll keep you busy.
Sure, yeah. It's something to do. That's the back of the box quote.
Well, and I haven't read these books, because it looks like these are following in line with the books. I don't know where, because I haven't read these books in like years. I still have them upstairs. But some of the names that they have already thrown out, some of the events that have already happened, I'm like, all right, this is tickling the fringes of my memory here. I remember this. I remember that kind of. This seems like a thing that may or may not have happened, whatever. So I can't quite place where it is, but it seems like this is following some form of this story. So, all right, cool. Yeah, we'll keep going with that and check it out. Maybe I'll reread those books one day.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, someday.
Yeah. My last game for this week, No Man's Sky.
Ah, here we go.
Yeah.
Back to it.
I have my PlayStation my old PlayStation on the living room. I have moved my Xbox One S out in the living room. I happen to have extra TVs because my work went through a remodel and threw out a bunch of TVs, and I pulled a couple out and fixed them up. Yeah, exactly. Yep. And nothing was wrong with them except for the screen was scratched. So I have a surplus of TVs. You might say there may be one TV per person in this house, maybe.
Yep.
What am I going to do with them? I don't know.
That's the right amount.
Yeah. So my Xbox is out there in the living room with my son, and I had a random thought actually yesterday about, hey, No Man's Sky is on Game Pass. My son and I have physical copies for each of our PlayStations. There's crossplay now.
That's right.
See if my daughter wants to play.
Oh,
and yes,
there you go.
She does. So we downloaded it from Game Pass, loaded it up. And then we were trying. She's sitting here like writing me the entire time. When can we play? When can we do this? Like as soon as we said it out loud, I'm like, baby, we are trying to figure out how crossplay is going to work.
Right? I don't know how this functions.
Yeah, your brother and I have not thought about this or looked into it until just now. So give us a minute.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting here, like my son and I are talking back and forth because he usually jumps into my game.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, hey, how do you normally do that? Do you just start your world? Is there an option or something that we can pick or whatever? And he's like, oh yeah, we just go into multiplayer, do this, this, and this, and whatever. I'm like, all right, cool. Let's get her set up so that way she has an instance on Xbox. That was a thing because I had to turn the game. I had to log into my profile on the Xbox, turn the game on, then sign out and sign in with my wife's account. That way, she then had access to the Game Pass version of the game, which is fine. Whatever, no big deal. It's kind of how PlayStation does their thing.
It works. Yeah.
So we got her in. We're doing creative mode because, as an adult, sometimes trying to manage shields, health, ship things.
7 pirates are shooting at you.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, okay, let's ease her into this game. Oops.
Right.
So that way she's not having to deal with all these systems. And I was looking in creative mode, and creative mode basically makes it so that you don't need items for anything. You can build however you want. You don't have to forage for anything. You have infinite health, and there are no enemies in the game. NPC enemies in the game. So it's like, very cool. Start with that. See how this goes. All we had to do is when you go into the multiplayer menu, it says show friend code or, No Man's Sky code or whatever.
Oh, sure.
I had to take a picture of that. I had to add her. My son added her on his account. I added her on my account. So now whenever she goes into an instance, she pops up in our multiplayer and then we can jump into her co-op game.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So now we all have a co-op save file for this fun little creative mode.
That's cool.
And what we have done so far is that my son and I jumped off planet, went into the space station, bought every module you can get because you don't need money or nanites for anything.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Upgraded the first ship that you have to S-class with all of the inventory spots, all the modules that you need. And then we're upgrading our suit and our guns and all this stuff. And then we're just kind of waiting around for ships to come in and out of the spaceport so we can get cooler ships.
Like, this is like the Matrix, like, we need guns. It's just like,
exactly.
Like wrapping stuff on you where it's just like, I'm coming, baby, hold on.
And then my daughter's, and we're walking my daughter through this because we're like, okay, you don't have to worry about anything. If you want to explore this planet, walk around, you can, shoot that planet.
I've got ships. I got guns. I got mods.
So we show her how to fly her spaceship. She's really cool about it. She freaked out a little bit because my son and I jumped to the space station and she was trying to figure out how to get there. And we're like, all right. And I walked down there and I showed her, okay, if you hold down these 2 buttons, this will be your pulse drive. This will get you here, blah, blah, blah. She lands. And as we're waiting for ships to come in, this really cool ship comes in, lands. We go to talk to the guy so we can get the ship, and it's already taken because somehow my daughter figured out how to talk to somebody and get their ship. It's like
incredible.
Fine, whatever. So
making deals.
Now she's flying around in this awesome looking ship thing, and my son and I are just in the beaters that you get at the start of the game.
Right. Great.
So then we continue on and we're like, all right, what else can we do in this game? We can build whatever we want. We don't have to worry about anything. So my kids go to the planet that's close to the space station. I kind of dally around in space. I was looking to see if a frigate would come because we were trying to figure out, can we just get these for free as well?
Oh, yeah.
Later on. Yes, you can.
Nice.
But as I land on the planet after a while, I see like lasers and stuff going off everywhere. What had happened was that my son had built all of the vehicles that you can make and had them all lined up and stuff like that. And he built the mech and got into the mech, and he is just going to town on everything around him. So then my daughter also builds a mech and is doing the same thing. So I land, and my ship all of a sudden comes under fire. But I have infinite shield, so it doesn't matter. We can't hurt each other or anything. Right. So it's just I have the hit detectors showing that I'm being hit by something, but nothing's happening. So then instead of landing, I take back off and I just buzz fly them, where I've got like all of these weapons on them, and I am blowing up the ground around them. And then I realized, oh hey, I can dig holes and have them fall into them.
Oh no.
So I land, build a mech, switch over from the mining laser to the terrain manipulator. And as my son is running around shooting me with his mining laser, I'm just like, I'm shooting the ground in front of him, and he's slowly going down on an incline until I get him into a hole big enough that he can't jump out of it with the mech. And he's like, "What did you do?" It's like, "I'm burying you." Reversed the
See ya,
terrain
sucker.
manipulator and started adding everything above it. And then I chased down my daughter and did the same thing.
Great.
And then before they figured out how to dig themselves out, I'm sitting here like getting rid of the terrain under their ships, knowing full well that the ships are going to float in the air. And my son says that too, because he's like, they're just going to sit there, right? And I'm like, I know. However, if I dig the hole wide enough and big enough, you can't jump to them. Which, obviously, they could still summon them. They were in no danger. However, my daughter did not know that.
Right.
Yeah, you're just a terrific dad teaching lessons about your own life.
And then we walked out of the chaos of destroying everything on that planet and moved on to another planet. And then my son and I both remembered that, oh, hey, they have the new thing now where you can have pets. And so this planet, we were on like a mechanized planet of some sort, and there was just like these orbs that were there. And we walked up, I fed an orb, it liked me, and now I have an orb pet that I can just summon whenever I want.
Let's go.
It likes me. So we all have these orb pets that we're running around a space station with and summoning and just running around doing God knows what. So it's been a lot of fun. We then jumped into the next system. There was a freighter there. My son and I did a race to see who could get to the freighter first. I won. He wasn't very happy about it because it was a pretty cool looking freighter, forget whatever they're calling it. And then two more showed up. Yeah, the big jump ship. So two more showed up. My son got one, my daughter got the other one. We were kind of tooling around with those, figuring it all out, and just had a blast. So creative mode is still pretty fun. Eventually we'll graduate her to permadeath, but for right now. But yeah, that's all I've been playing this week. Co-op shenanigans.
Yeah, the best times. A couple quick updates for stuff. I played more Griftlands. They put out a series of patches this week that kind of broke things pretty badly on consoles. So a lot of like, I won or lost this fight and the game froze, or I won and lost this conversation and the game froze. So unfortunately wasn't able to make much progress on that this week, which is kind of a bummer because I'm really enjoying that. And I have the second character unlocked, and there's still looks like there's a slot for a third character too. So I'm kind of excited to try out the second character, see how different his run is from the first one. But I keep making it a little bit further. I'm kind of figuring out how to kind of take advantage of all the systems in the game, and I find it really interesting that the game takes place over only like 3 or 4 days, and you very quickly get a reputation in the game that sticks with you for your entire run. So what happens when you're fighting enemies is they'll have a health bar, and like the end portion of it will be white, and if you decrease their health into the white section, they'll raise up their hands and they'll try to surrender. Either you can accept the surrender, or you can just kill them. If you accept surrender from a lot of people, sometimes they'll like you, which means you'll have better relationships with people that they're surrounded by. Or if you just kill them, immediately whoever's friends or family with them will hate you, and you'll start getting a reputation as kind of a butcher in the game. So you'll run into people and they're like, oh no, it's this lady, the killer. So we better... they already have a different attitude towards you than they might have if you had taken different choices. So it's kind of neat seeing that stuff really have a rippling effect on your game, even if the run is short, even if each individual storyline that you're playing it's the same each time, but you have all these kind of halo effects around it of your attitude and whether you're fighting or trying to talk people out of stuff, whether you're killing or surrendering, which side you work with. Like, there's a lot of stuff in this that's kind of interesting run over run. It's not just like, all right, here's the same story, fast forward, fast forward. So
Cool.
Griftlands still good. Still enjoying this. Probably.
That's good. Stick it on the Wii Rope bucket list.
Yeah, it'll probably be one of my favorite surprises this year, because it's just like, all right, Clay made it. I love Invisible Ink. I love Don't Starve. Like, I love all their other games. Let's just give it a shot for like $13. Why not? And hey, turns out Clay made another good game.
Really good.
Shocker. So hoping to. I'm trying to like slowly put more time into that, because runs aren't long, but it's quite a bit of reading. It's quite a bit of like decision making. And my kid has not been feeling me playing any video games lately, so, which is fine. I will spend time with you.
Should let her play No Man's Sky.
Fine, Roger.
Well, we'll talk about our next game here, Fortnite. Season 7, they're like 3 weeks into it or something. They started a summer event, so there's a whole bunch of summer skins and stuff like that. And they're starting, they are featuring, like every couple of days, there's a new community-made map that they're featuring as what they call an LTM, a limited time mode. Usually a lot of these are fun, where it's like, whoa, what if everybody had snipers and rocket launchers? You know, it's like, it's a lot of that stuff. Usually it's largely fun. These are rough. Like, the very first one is 7 or 8 teams of 3 that are in this giant empty arena, and you start in like this little cubby hole, and you poke up, and like, there's just, all it is building and hiding, and it's a nightmare. That would be fine if it was 5 rounds or 3 rounds or something. It's 10 rounds. And
Jeez.
One team out of 7 needs to eliminate all of the other teams for 1 round to finish. So I'm just like, this is a slog. So I stopped playing that after one match, because I was like, this took me like 45 minutes to go through 10 rounds. Like, I'm never playing this again. I don't care what the rewards are. I'll wait a couple of days for the next one. The next one was, you're like in a ship, and it's 5 teams versus 5. Every time you eliminate an enemy, you get 50 coins, and like right under your spawn are a bunch of vending machines for weapons. I'm like, all right, that's kind of fun. It's first team to 200 eliminations. What the hell?
On a 5v5?
Yeah, 5v5.
Jeez.
I played one match for, it must have been easily 45 minutes. I think we were at like 95 eliminations. Like, guys, I don't have like hours to play this mode. Like, and eventually it was just like 2-on-2 with rocket launchers, and you peek out a little bit, and like 2 people are blowing you up immediately. It's like, because everybody's leaving because the match is taking forever.
Like, how have these games not learned that not everybody is in there for an 18-hour session?
Right. Like, I part of why I like Fortnite is, if I win a match, if I come in first place, that match takes me maybe half an hour. Like, maybe. And if I get killed at like 85 or something, I'm in that match for like a minute. So like, the idea of like, it's 45 minutes and you're not even halfway through this match, like, that is 100% not what I'm here for. So it's a real bummer to see that, like, I continually like the idea of them featuring maps that the community have made in the creative mode, because there's some really cool stuff. Like, last season I played one where you're like racing downhill and shooting yourself off of ramps to get in these super oversized basketball hoops. And like, if you have a really good control on, or like you have your head around how to maximize your movement in that game, you can get some of the really far off hoops that are worth like, it's like skee ball. You can get the hoops that are like worth 10 or so points as opposed to just the one. So like that's a really cool mode, and I think you went to like 100 points or something, but most people are getting like 5 or 10 points every time they go down. That's fine. Take a couple minutes, play that mode. But like these other modes, like that's real rough. So I'm hoping the next couple they feature are better, because if not, then I'm just gonna stick to normal Fortnite. Speaking of kids playing their games, though, my kid turns to me the other day and goes, "Daddy, can I play Fortnite?" And I was just like,
Oh, wow.
"Sure." I'm in a match right now, so here's the controller. You know how to use a DualSense. Go nuts. And she played I think it was like 2 matches while I was making lunch, and got frustrated because, quote unquote, the bad guys got her. One time it was the storm. The other time it was like she wandered directly into like a town and there were like 7 people there. But it's a good learning.
Okay,
it's
mistake. Yeah.
Yeah, it's another good learning lesson of it's okay if you win or you lose. You just have to be cool no matter if you win or lose. So she had a bunch of fun, and I was like, "All right, are you done playing Fortnite?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'm okay." It's like, okay, I was expecting a fight there, but that's fine. So Fortnite season 7, I think it is, still going pretty nicely. 2 thumbs up. They put a bunch of new aliens on the map that like they're called abductors, and it's basically like anybody in the town they're above gets pulled into the spaceship. And then there's like a low gravity mode in there where you're trying to collect a bunch of stuff, and then they just give you a bunch of loot at the end. I'm not entirely sure what that's all about. I've been largely trying to avoid it because it is kind of annoying. But Fortnite's weird, man. Yeah,
Like,
Fortnite's always been weird. It's just
genres don't exist anymore. There's just Fortnite. That's
yeah,
it.
it's just a weird thing. I love it. Last game, Ratchet and Clank, Rift Apart. I finished another couple of planets here. I feel like I'm sort of starting to wrap things up here at the kind of like 10-hour mark. I did a really cool planet with these new type of crystals where every time you run up to them and hit them, it flips the game into another dimension. So it's like it's the same exact level, but it's flipped to be kind of an alternate reality thing. It's a lot of the puzzles you would expect, which is like, I wonder how we'll get through this window. Smack this crystal. Oh, the window's broken in the other dimension because this is an abandoned factory instead of a manned one. Hop through there, hit another crystal. Whoa, we got through the window. Like, it's that sort of stuff. Like, it looks cool. It is satisfying every time. Where it's like, yeah, I bet I have to like go around this. Oh, I went around the corner. There's a crystal here. They did cap it off really nicely by another one of those rail grinding sections. That's always super satisfying. But you had to hit a bunch of crystals. Like, you're going almost at the end of this rail. It's about to end, but there's a crystal there. You smack it. The alternate reality has the rail continue. So you're like switching tracks and switching realities as you're doing it. It was really satisfying. I just finished the planet, like 2 planets after that, where you've probably seen it in the trailer, where you're sort of grinding around this giant robot. That was incredibly cool. It's just one of those scale things that these games do really well, where it's like, oh, cool, I'm getting closer to this robot. Oh, now I'm like grinding on the back of this robot. This is incredibly neat. And it just, I wish there was more to talk about this game. I am never not enjoying it. It is fun, like every moment I am playing it, and it looks so incredibly good. But it's just a Ratchet and Clank game, which for me is like a huge positive, because it's like, yeah, it's a third-person character platformer. You're leveling up all these dumb guns.
Yeah, that's all I want.
Yeah, like, it's exactly what I want. It looks like it's probably going to be 10 or 15 hours, probably like 5 or 7 more hours to wrap up all this stuff, like all the collectibles and stuff. It's perfect. Like it's exactly what I want. I played another couple of those Lemmings levels. They're not super hard. Like some of the levels in Into the Nexus, I think it was, where you had like the time traveling Clank to solve some of those puzzles. Some of those were a little bit tough. These are very much like, oh, raise this thing, ooh, lower this thing. Now they got to go really fast to jump over this gap. Like, it's Lemmings, which has never been that hard. But like, as blasé as it sounds like I am about this game, that's just another Ratchet and Clank game. Like, we don't get that many of these where it's like, here's all the collectibles on this planet, really clearly on this map. Now, if you pull up the map on the planet, here they all are, because you've been in the area, and you can mark them on the map and see exactly where they are. Like, it's perfect for kids. Like, you make it way harder if you really wanted to. I don't. I'll probably play the challenge mode, which I believe is in here, if I feel really saucy about the difficulty, but like, it's Ratchet and Clank. It's great. It's another one of these that looks great, plays great, sounds great. The story is fantastic. Look, you can see all the fur on each Ratchet and Rivet. Like, it looks so good. And I wish PS5s were more available so more people can play it. But it's definitely not going anywhere. So, 2 thumbs up. Ratchet and Clank. Still good.
PS5 game to get.
Yes. Yeah, there's like, I was, Musum was mentioning on Twitter that he either has a PS5 or is like getting one, and what are the recommendations. He like has Ratchet, Astrobot comes in by default. He had like 2 or 3 of the kind of the ones you would need to get, and he was asking about like, hey, should I get Returnal or Demon Souls? I was trying to recommend him stuff that he hasn't played on other stuff, and it's like, well, you can play Immortals Phoenix Rising, like that's really good, but they're on both platforms. There are very few, like, here is a platform exclusive that you probably haven't played on something else. There's a lot of stuff that's been upgraded, where it's like, you want to play Final Fantasy VII Remake again? That's 60 frames now, and it looks real good. But like, there's very few actual exclusives. But yeah, Ratchet and Clank is definitely one of those like showpiece ones. Like, let's load times, graphics, like supporting all the great TV stuff. Sony, would be really great if you would patch VRR into the PS5 now, since you said you would. That would be super great. But yeah, you're right. It's definitely one of those like, yeah, if you have a PS5 and you have any level of fondness or interest in this series, you should definitely scoop this up. But yeah, that's all I've been playing this week. Let's take a break.
Yep.
Cool. Go see what my dog is barking at.
What time is it?
You want to say hello?
I want to see the baby.
Hey. Stop headbutting the microphone, please. Yeah.
Come up for the real pets. Oh, there you go. Hi, Louise. Man, my voice is feeling pretty raw today.
Gee, I wonder why.
Yeah, we've been recording now for 3.5 hours.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that, and we still have more to record after this. Because our F9 critical misses went, I would say long, but it probably went about as long as we would expect it to. Oh, there's an angry dog. Is Louise looking at something out the window?
No, that window's shut.
Oh, okay.
That's blinds, shockingly enough.
Okay.
Blinds.
Man.
Her window is this side.
Oh, okay. It's where all the squirrels are.
Oh.
Who's a big baby? It's just I'll just hang out here and take a quick nap. I'm good. Welcome back.
Fucking dog. Hey, do you know there's people outside? Hey.
Yeah, there are other people in the world. That's what my cat has been doing lately. Like my neighbors, they've been kind of tooling around in their backyard doing a bunch of stuff. He's always like at the back window, like doing that thing where the cats are like down and hunched and like moving his head back and forth. It's like they're like you can barely see them through the fence. Chill out. They're not even on our property. That would be a problem.
Something's moving.
Yeah. People. Oh, man. Okay. Are you guys ready to do the second half of the show? Half of question marks.
Yep.
All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk releases for the week of June 28th, 2021. Destroy All Humans comes out on the Switch. I heard this, the current remaster of this was fine. So I'm expecting this to be fine.
From what I understand, it has all of the writing and controls of a game of its era, so take that as you will.
Yeah. Disgaea 6 Defiance of Destiny comes out on the Switch.
Yeah, it does.
I think this is the only platform for it here in the States, right?
Yeah, it came out. I guess there's a PS4 version in Japan, but it's not coming Western anytime soon, it sounds like. So Switch is the only way to go.
They have a graphics and performance mode on the Switch version of this, and the performance mode looks real rough. It is no longer 2D sprites, which means that engine is keeping track of a lot of stuff all at once, and I think it's making the Switch sweat a little bit. Yeah. Ghoul Patrol, the Super NES game, comes out for PC, Switch, PS4, and Xbox One. And the game you would want to pick up, Zombies Ate My Neighbors, comes out on PC, Switch, PS4, and Xbox One. Ghoul Patrol is not great, especially compared to Zombies Ate My Neighbors. Zombies Ate My Neighbors is good, and I'm hoping it's still good. I will probably pick this up and try it out, because I don't think I ever beat it on the Genesis, because it is difficult and forever long.
Is it a roguelike? Can we throw on the list?
No. It's just like a level-based, like, run and gun, like 2D kind of shooter thing. It's just tough. Just a really, really tough game. So I'm excited to check that out. We'll see how... Limited Run Games just did a version of that for the actual Genesis, which I think is pretty good. Sky Children of Light comes out on the Switch. This is the one we talked about a couple weeks ago at E3, where that game company bringing this from iOS only to now coming out on Switch.
Oh, okay. Yep. Now another one.
Yeah. And last but certainly not least, Doki Doki Literature Club Plus comes out for PC, Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Series X. Again, heed the content warnings. In this new version, there are 2 content warnings that are available. The previous one was just like mature themes, dark stuff, be careful. And there's a spoiler content warning version where it explicitly says what the game features. So, you can spoil the content if you'd like. That will probably not take away from the impact of that content, but do heed the content warnings on that, because it's no joke. That's not that's not a joke about what the game contains. But
if you can handle the content, it is a really interesting game.
Yep.
But
it's very short. It is a good ride, and I'm curious to see. I bought a physical PS5 copy of this. Number one, because it was cheap, and number two, I find that idea very funny that I own. Mm-hmm. I'm going to own a physical version of Doki Doki Literature Club for the PS5. But I'm very curious to see what they have added to this game. I don't know if I'll go through and play it again, because I feel like I got the experience I wanted the first time, as I'm watching Louise lick Moon's beard over here.
I'm just curious on how they change one of the puzzles towards the end.
Yes, yeah. Without spoiling it, it was important that you were playing that on PC, and I think that was free, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe it was, yes.
Yeah. So you can
You can still get it free right now on Steam, and I think Epic Store has it
I think
now
most
as well.
places have it, yeah. And I haven't heard anything from Team Salvato is the team's name. It's only 2 people, but I haven't heard anything about them taking the free version down, which would be crazy if they did, but you can still go out and get that version. It's a great experience if the themes aren't going to bother you or affect you. So yeah, go play that game. It's great. We have
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, we had a game club of that a couple of years ago when it was brand new. So,
we had a spoiler cast of it.
Oh, spoiler cast. That's right. Yeah. You and I did that. Yeah.
The game is still free on Steam, but they do have a club fan pack that you can buy for $10. It's like a soundtrack and concept art and all this other extra stuff.
It was like the tip jar almost. Yeah. Good for them. Let's move on to our news story of the week. There's a big rumor that EA is reviving a dormant series next month at EA Live. EA Play. EA Play is going to take place July 22nd. Rumors seem to be swirling that it's a Dead Space game, though it's a, quote, reimagining and not a direct sequel, which is probably a good idea after how 3 was received. So a little coolly. This one's really interesting because the first 2 Dead Space games are really good, and I'm curious to see what they would do with it nowadays. I feel like what they should do, which is probably what they're not going to do, is just kind of like make a really pretty version of Dead Space 1. Like, it has new characters, new story and stuff, but like it largely controls and functions the same. Like idiot line and everything, please. But I'm a little worried about how EA is going to EA Dead Space, to be kind of pessimistic about it.
100%.
It's a live service battle royale. Here we go.
100%.
100 Isaacs.
Isaac.
Yeah.
One person, and 99 people drop in as necromorphs. And
okay. Well, hold on. You're selling me a little bit. Yeah. Well, that multiplayer was really good.
No, I mean, the problem I've got is if they do choose Dead Space, they're screwed, because Dead Space 1 and 2 are 10 out of 10 games.
Yep.
I don't care what anybody says. They were 10 out of 10 games when they came out, as far as I'm concerned. And you're not going to do that again. You're just not. Like, unless you come up with something truly special.
Yeah.
You ain't hitting that. And tacking the Dead Space name on it is going to do one or two things. It's going to get the OG fans annoyed, and they're not going to want to play it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to alienate everybody else who doesn't know what Dead Space is and listens to all the OG fans complain about it.
Yeah. I mean, the best case scenario, they do something like 2017's Prey, where it's like, all right, the other games were divisive, but this one's good. Like, you should pick this one. Like, the best case scenario they could have is like, all right, here's a new Dead Space, and sure, the old ones were good, but this one is actually good too. But I don't know. Go ahead.
Look at the 2 biggest reimaginings recently that have been taken by different teams. Let's face it, by different teams, because the Wolfenstein remake was incredible, but that was largely the same studio and the same kind of teams and the same people and that kind of thing.
Yep.
If you look at the 2 biggest reimaginings, Prey is one of them.
Yeah.
And with the exception of a few vocal proponents, nobody talks about that game.
Yeah.
And the other game is Syndicate. With the exception of a few vocal proponents, nobody talks about that game.
Man, I love the first 2.5, if you want to get technical, Bullfrog, PC, and Amiga Syndicate games. And that new one they made is really good. And like it really captured what made Syndicate cool. Obviously a very different game, but like it still had the kind of this terrible future cyberpunk thing going like the originals did. I think you're right. Like those are probably but the problem too is like, if you look at both of those, like the original Prey games were received fine. Like they were okay. And like the original Syndicate games it'd been decades since those came out. turning into ash as I'm talking about it. But like Dead Space, that trilogy is still so new. Like those came out on 360, which is a longer time ago than I think I would rather look at right now. But like they're still new enough to be like 2 generations old. So I feel like it's like Mass Effect Andromeda, where it's like you try to veer too far off of what the other games were trying to do, and you kind of can't win.
Yeah, and the problem you're also going to have here is you are reviving a franchise and harkening back to a time when EA wasn't Activision 2.0.
Yeah.
This was the era of EA partners. This is the
Right.
era of Dead Space, Mass Effect, Dragon Age,
Right.
Mirror's Edge. This is the EA of old, and you're going to harken back to that with a new, like, reimagining of Dead Space. Go to hell. I'll be interested. I might play it eventually. But you know full well that they're going to have necromorph trading cards that you have to collect and then feed cards to your feed Isaac cards to your necromorph cards. So that, you know, you can get your necromorph stronger.
Yeah. I would really love it. I don't want any video game to fail. Well, that's not entirely true. I don't want most video games coming out to fail, as long as the creators aren't like terrible wrong-ins, as Moon has coined. I would love to see a new Dead Space come out and be successful. It just it felt like Mass Effect Andromeda, where it's like, you should give it a shot, but man, the deck is stacked against you. Like, go with God, but like you could probably wait 10 more years and people would be pretty pumped about that. But I'm excited to see it. It's still really weird that EA is like, yeah, we're going to show off a bunch of new video games like a month and a half after E3. It's like you had the time, like the show.
Why they waited? That's why they waited, because now they get all of the news headlines, dude. Surely you know this by now.
That's right. EA's gonna just do whatever they want. Sell you some
Wasn't
packs.
like always the last thing at E3 as well? Like they would also do their thing all the way through the end of E3.
Well, yeah, and they were always like, well, you know where you can find us, across the street at the EA Play Amphitheater. It's like, oh my god, oh just get over it. Devolver Digital's doing a barbecue over here that people are more interested for that. Like, come on. All right, let's move on to, we've been recording a super long time today. We have a bunch of emails sitting in the queue. I apologize we haven't gotten to them yet. We won't get to them this week because we've been recording forever. And Moon and I still have more stuff to record after this. So we're just going to get 2 quick questions here before, and we'll get to them in the future, I promise. T-Bomb Rock sends us a question via Discord. After the Xbox showcase, the value of Game Pass is tremendous. What do you think the long-term strategy will be to get Game Pass to more people other than that rumored streaming stick?
That's it. It's accessibility. It's accessibility because I think your audience now is large enough that we are the proponents of it. We are the people saying, me mostly on this show, being like, hey,
look at this value.
Hey, go play this on Game Pass.
Right.
Like, we are the people to do so. All you need is the accessibility, and they're already talking about for the Xbox One and X generation.
Yep.
For them to be able to use Game Pass to stream the Series X versions to those platforms.
Right. And actually, this week in the background, they upgraded a whole bunch of games to this on Game Pass on xCloud, whatever. I think they're just calling it game streaming now. They can now run natively the Series X versions, so you'll have HDR settings, ray tracing settings, frame rate settings, stuff like that. So like that stuff is already happening in the background. Maybe not for the Xbox One consoles, but like they're continuing to make very aggressive progress on that stuff.
Yeah. As long as they keep going how they're going now, they should be fine.
Yeah, it's
they don't seem to be making any wrong steps, really.
Right.
So
yeah, it just continues to be this thing where it's like all of these games that you're looking forward to on this platform, they're free on release date and you can preload them now. Yeah. Like it's just like, okay, cool, that's literally all I would want. I think the only thing that they need to do is just, like Moon said, it's just the accessibility. It's on some iOS devices, and that stuff's like rolling out more. It's on virtually every other platform. You know, the streaming stick is probably the last big thing, but like, you just have to get people to use it, and they will use it in the places they use the most, and they're just getting there. Like, Microsoft officially unveiled Windows 11 this week. It has integrated Game Pass support in the OS. So, like, you don't even have to download whatever else. It just cross-save, cross-progression, cross-play, all that stuff is baked into the OS. And they have auto HDR baked into the OS, just like they do for the Xbox OS. So, like, it's really funny to see them announce... Tangent. It's really funny to see them announce auto HDR for Windows 11, because I feel like that's the key that Sony and Nintendo are missing, is that if you invest in the technology and you invest in the engineering teams to do this stuff the right way, you can carry that technology from generation to generation and platform to platform. That's obviously not a problem for Nintendo and Sony because they're not making OSs. But in like Sony and Nintendo's case, if Sony would get emulation right for all of their platforms, there's nothing stopping them to carry that to the PS5 and the PS6 and the PS7. Same with Nintendo. You get all that stuff working correctly once, like genuinely correctly in a maintainable situation. There's nothing saying like, all right, you're going to pick up your more powerful Switch. All that stuff you have in your account, that's all, you know, all your Nintendo classics, those all roll forward too. So like it... Good.
I think the issue with that though is Sony have got the problem of one of their most most popular generations in the PlayStation 3, which is the birth of a lot of their huge franchises these days.
Yeah.
Was on the worst architecture known to man.
Yeah. And like,
I mean, don't get me wrong, if the PlayStation 3 threw a fighting tournament in the middle of nowhere on, you know, slabs of stone, that would be great. But the Cell architecture is different from Cell from Dragon Ball Z, unfortunately.
Right.
Cell from Dragon Ball Z is cool. The Cell architecture is hot garbage.
Yeah, and Sony could make a lot more fans by saying like, look, a lot of the PS3 games that are huge, those are playable on PS4 through some remasters or reimaginings. Let's not worry about the PS3 right now. Let's focus on the PS1, the PS2, and, you know, fixing up the last couple of games, that PS4 games that don't work right on the PS5. Like, that would make some huge headway towards getting that stuff right. And it's funny because Jim Ryan has come out lately in interviews saying like, I ran my mouth at that polyphony thing. It's not that Sony doesn't care about old games. It's just maybe that was a little more aggressive than I meant to be, which, sure.
Hey, I'm a giant CEO with a mouthful of money, and I don't know when to shut it up, and now I'm afraid I ain't going to get my bonus this year.
Well, and also it's this attitude of like, well, just buy a PS5 if you want to play new games. It's like, yeah, there's sort of a problem with that, like, step one. But it's been really interesting to see Microsoft investing in backwards compatibility and that do really, really well. Sort of contrary, I think, to how most people feel about backwards compatibility, which is like, who wants to play original Xbox games? It turns out like, not like 50% of Series X owners or anything, but a pretty good amount of people are going back there and be like, oh yeah, Ninja Gaiden Black came out, like the remaster. I already own that for the original Xbox. I could just download that and play that. Oh, cool, that game's still good. You know, like...
And there's also, like, look how easy it is on Microsoft's side. Now,
yeah.
I've beat this one before because I'm little boy green in this, you know, scenario.
Right.
Look how simple it is on the Xbox. You hit the button, You download a game, it gives you the best version. Your save files just transfer straight over.
Yep.
Like, as much as I hate to say it, I feel like the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One generation are going to be the forgotten generation because people are going to forget that those ones even existed. And the backwards compatibility work that Microsoft have done, especially between the One and the One X, that was the step that they needed to then take and allow that to make it so much easier going forwards. To just streamline the whole thing backwards. And it's like, I don't have to download the PlayStation 4 game or the Xbox One version of the game.
To upload your cloud save to
the cloud.
So stupid.
And download the next version so I can download the save from there. I don't have to do any of that. I go boop. And the only game where I didn't go boop with was MLB because it made you choose between the Series X and the regular version.
Yeah. Look, PS5 is my primary platform. A lot of that experience for like the cross-generation stuff sucks, and a lot of it makes zero sense. Where like publishers and developers have to roll their own solution. It's like, and you look over at the Xbox, and Microsoft has done so much time investing in their SDK and their OS to just say like, oh yeah, you want to make this original Xbox game, frame rate boost, auto HDR. This thing now runs at like 400 frames per second, has HDR, whatever. It came out in 2003. Like, it's such a different approach to it, and I think I have been surprised at how much Microsoft's approach has been paying off for them in the backwards compatibility way, because I thought that would do pretty well, but I didn't think it would do as well as it's doing right now. And good for them. They invested the time in it to do it right, and it's paying off.
Let's face it, there's probably a lot of people behind the scenes that we have to thank for this, but there's one person up front that we have to thank for this, and that's Spencer.
Yeah.
Like he's probably got people of like his compatriot of cohorts that he adores, and they all have the same shared vision. But he's the front-facing person of that. So he's the person who was like, screw your media, screw your TV through your Xbox. We do games. It's about time.
Yeah, just like focus the window down. Yeah. One of my other things too is I really love seeing people in the Destiny community. You see it every once in a while on Twitter where they'll post a screenshot and they're like, LOL, I'm going to hop into Phil Spencer's fire team. And then like 20 minutes later, they're like, I just did a Nightfall with Phil Spencer. That was cool. He's a nice guy. It's just like, cool. Like if he's got the time, he'll play Nightfall with you. Sure. He plays a lot of Destiny.
Because I'm pretty sure, funnily enough, I'm pretty sure his group that he plays with are all Destiny players.
Yeah,
because
I remember him telling that.
Hearing about it about 2 years ago, 2 E3s ago, maybe 3. Like he literally has like 4 dads who they all play games together.
Yep.
And they barely know anything about video games. They're not in the business. They're not in.
Yeah, they just met online.
Met online, and they all play games together. And then he invites them to E3 every year, and they're just like, "I don't know what this is.
That's my buddy Phil.
I don't know why I'm here."
Yeah, Xbox P3. My buddy Phil. Oh no, he runs Xbox. Okay, cool. Next and final question here from Late Elf. So after listening to the Nymph talk about his adventures with the Ring Fit, I decided to go ahead and grab one, since I've been too distracted with Destiny to break it down and give it a try. Does he have any advice for newbies? He says, blueberries? To this particular device, I somehow doubt some bits of it are going to fit the average adult male, so I'm kind of wondering if I just shook my leg like the hokey pokey, it'd read me as running like Usain Bolt. Anyway, have a great show.
So, the controls, yes, you could shake your leg and it'll see you running, because it's just using the meter. I forget which one it
like
is.
the gyro in it.
Yeah, just to see that it's waggling back and forth. So yes, there are some things that you can cheat on it. One thing that I recommend is just don't turn it all the way up for difficulty.
Right.
If it tells you, hey, you should be doing a 20, start at 20.
Yeah.
And then, if you feel you could do more, bump it up some. If you feel you need to do less, turn it down. So yeah, don't force it.
You're not The Rock. Don't put it at 100. Like,
But yeah, I mean the ring itself, I still haven't had any issues with it. I've only been using it off and on because now that I work days, I don't have time in the morning or the afternoon really with the kids, so I try to get it in before I go to bed still. But I live in an old house that's creaky, and I do the running in place thing.
Oh, right.
I have found if you get a yoga mat, it'll help out with that. But also there are a couple moves where you're balancing like basically on your tailbone.
Oh boy.
Some of like the yoga stuff. So a yoga mat's really gonna help out with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, just it's real. You don't have to do like it's got the. Like I said, the person will show you what you need to do. You don't have to do it exactly. You just kind of have to go through the motions, pay attention to form because that will help you along.
Right.
But like it tells you throughout the entire thing, if you're feeling tired or if you need to take a break or you can't hold the stance or whatever, just go ahead and stop for a moment. Yeah,
you'll get there eventually. Stretch. Like don't kill yourself.
It's not forcing you, and the game will wait. So
yeah,
if all you can do is shake your leg to imitate running. All right, and then maybe try doing a little bit of running in place and see, try to help facilitate that.
Yeah, do as much as you can. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not difficult. It'll be fairly easy. So that's all I got. Oh, bring water.
Yes.
Water,
a fan. Yeah.
There's been a couple times where even because like I'm not very high, I forget what I'm at now, but like I'm at the point where it's like I should probably turn this up a couple more now. But there are times where some of the quote unquote missions have gotten a little bit longer, so there's a lot more running in place, and you sweat.
Right. Yeah, you're getting an actual workout. Yeah. All right, thanks everyone for writing in, and thank you very much everyone for listening. That's our episode. You can visit us. You can do so at tvgp.tv. Everywhere to find and follow us is on the right-hand side of the page, including the Discord and Twitter and the email address, all the good stuff, including a link to our Patreon, patreon.com/E1M1. The ones are numbers. $5 a month. What's up?
Get that fascinating goodness while it's hot.
Yeah. I will have to burn the midnight oil tonight to get all of you that hot Fast 9 episode, but it's a good one. We enjoyed the episode recording it. I want to get that to you as soon as possible. $5 a month is a recommended tier. That gets you everything. Any way you can support us over on Patreon helps us get to the point where we can start saving money for a new computer for Moon, start saving for new equipment, get us to the super spooky tier at $250 a month, so we can play some spooky, scary stuff, and it just it makes everything easier on the pocketbook. If you can't support us over on Patreon, totally understand. You can help us by telling your friends, sharing it on social media, rating us 5 stars, or whatever the maximum is wherever you listen. That helps out a ton. Just word of mouth helps out any podcast you listen to a ton, including ours. That recommendation carries a lot of weight. So share that stuff around, tell your friends, and tell 2 friends, have them pay it forward, tell 2 more. Spread the love. Spread the word of TVGP. And I think that's it. So we'll see you all next week. Bye.
Oi.
Bye.
All right. Titles.
I have Woefully Inadequate.
Oh, hey, you talking about me?
Middle of the Road Link.
It's the only title I wrote down this week.
I did not do that math. Oh, This Exists. And Don't Laugh at My Cat.
Moon, how about you?
I don't have it catalyzed. My dearest Claudia. Nobody trusts the English. It's something to do. Reputation as a butcher. Mouthful of money and Little Boy Green.
I have Middle of the Road Link. Oh, This Exists, and It's Something to Do. Any other ones you feel really strongly about?
I like my Claudia, but that's just dumb. So.
Yeah. Middle of the road Link is the one that's the front runner for me.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
All right. Circling it. Let me know when you guys are ready.
It does that weird thing where it layers the highlighting, so it just gets more vivid as I highlight more.
Like, these are the really rough weeks for titles where it's like there's a lot of good stuff in the show, but nothing. Yeah, nothing's like a guaranteed winner.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay.
Okay. Starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 714 for June 28th, 2021. Middle of the road Link.
Not so useless anymore.
As long as you watch out for the fork in the road.
All right, thank you so much, everyone, for listening and watching, hanging out with us. I hope we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.